In the equity quadrant today, keeping an eye on the September NASDAQ, which was the only positive index during today's session. Dow ended up down about 79 basis points. The S&P down about 35 basis points, or a third of 1%. And the Russell just short of 1% lower at about 93 basis points. The NASDAQ, on the other hand, finished the day up about 15 basis points, right around 15,068 or so, maybe some change on the end of that. On the upside today, 15,108 was the high. That was up almost 0.5%, 41 basis points. And on the downside, 14,997 in that September contract, down about a third of 1%. We got a little bit of volatility after Fed Vice Chair Richard Clarida spoke and walked back quite a bit of the dovishness that we got from Jerome Powell, and that rattled yields. We actually had yields much lower prior to Richard Clarida's speech. They ended up rallying back to unchanged and then finishing slightly lower, but that's not really the whole story. The yield curve itself flattened quite a bit today. 2 basis points flatter on the 3-month to the 30-year, 3 basis points flatter on the 2-year to the 30-year, 4 basis points on the 5s to 10s, and 4 basis points flatter on the 5s to 30s. That hurts bank stocks more than anything, but hurts really the reflation trade as a flatter yield curve. Theoretically, not always, but theoretically points to a slower economy than the previous day's yield curve, as you would expect the longer out yields to be a lot higher and get a steeper yield curve in a growing economy. So it speaks to that sort of slowdown, and that tends to favor the NASDAQ, even if it means that the NASDAQ is a less negative index than the others. Today we got a slightly above unchanged for the NASDAQ versus the other 3 major indexes in the US. On the sector breakdown side of things, only IT and communication services were higher today, but not by much. Communication services were up about 23 basis points, a little bit less than 0.25%, and information technology up 19 basis points on the day.